Alright guys, I know it's been a while, but I'm coming back at you with my Dark Magician deck profile. This deck profile is going to be crazy. Like, I put some stuff in here that really is going to elevate the deck, and I also have cards on the side that I'm going to show you later on at the end of the deck profile that you can run to help with today's meta, because I know the meta right now is like really crazy. You know, you got the body steals, the elements, and tier 0, and things are just getting a little crazy and out of hand with Yu-Gi-Oh right now. But I got some stuff in here that should definitely help. But without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. We're going to start off with the monsters, of course. So let me just sit this over here to the side for you. And then we're going to go right into with our 1, 2 Dark Magicians. We only run the 2 Dark Magicians. Then we have the 1 Dark Magician Girl, the 1 Red Eyes, still of course very standard. Then we have our 1 Illusion of Chaos. I only run 1 only because it's incredibly searchable. Preparational Rites is such a good card. You can also have access to it through Rod, grabbing your Soul Servant. And then you can just draw it. And then I have some other cards in here that'll also help you draw too. So I feel like I do see this card very, very often. And then if I don't have it, I always have other cards that I go into as well. So just one of those. And we have our 2 rods. Only 2 rods. We don't need 3 rods in here because I run other cards too. So I don't want things to get a little bricky with the rods. Because they have recursion. Pop the Dark Magician, bring it back to your hand. Eternal Souls, bring you back your Dark Magician. And they can just normal summon, search it as normal. So there's that. And then we have our 3 Magician Souls. Very standard. I run 1 Apprentice Losing Magician, 1 Timaeus the United Dragon. And then I also run the Magic Karibo. So this card's actually pretty good. And if you don't know what it does, during the main phase or battle phase, if you took damage by battle or an opponent's card effect, quick effect, you can send this card to the graveyard from your hand to special summon a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your deck or graveyard. And then if a face-up spellcaster monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add this card from your deck yard. Add this card from your graveyard to your hand. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, so this card has the recursion too. Just keep, getting back Dark Magician Girl, bring it back to your hand. As soon as you take battle damage or effect damage, just pitch it, special summon the other one. And most likely it'll always be Dark Magician, and then you just use your circle and you get your banish. If you don't have your Eternal Souls up. So there's always that. And I also run Ghost Sister and Spook Dog. This card's still in here from the last deck profile, only because I like it so much in this deck. Like, with all the special summoning that people do nowadays with the combo decks and just everybody spamming the board with a bunch of summons, this definitely is a very good card for Dark Magicians, because your life points end up being so high that it takes time for them to kill you. Plus, you're doing so much like defense, because Dark Magician is so slow. So I have a lot of stall cards in here, and this is one of them. And then I also have the 1 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. The reason I put this in here is only because, like I said, with the format right now, you want to get rid of your opponent's resources. It doesn't really matter nowadays if you stop your opponent's effects, because they just have so many other cards that are just going to get them what they need. So I'd rather get rid of a card that they can use for a Link Summon or Fusion Summon, making them use a different effect to get that card back. So now they're just using effects that they wouldn't have had to use if I didn't have this card. So there's that. And then I'll run 2 more cards. This is going to be a little out of the box, but they're in here. I run one Fallen Albas and one Albister Jester. So I was thinking about pushing this card up to 2 and this card up to 2. Only because I like the way that they work in this deck, because the deck is all dark mostly. And especially with the Bystials in play, this deck really loses hard to them. But I have some cards in here that are really going to help you when you're facing Bystial players if you are playing Dark Magicians. But that's going to be it for our monsters, and I'm going to go right into our spell lineup. We do run a lot of spells. Standard, we play the Dark Soul Servant, and then we play the Dark Magical Circle, and then we're going to also play 2 Secret Villages of Spellcasters, and that's very standard. We have our Preparation Rites. I still run Terraforming because you also run the Soul Servant, so you can either grab this or this now that Mystic Mine's gone. And that, I don't understand why they got rid of Mystic Mine. I really don't. I know Mystic Mine was a problem, but for certain decks, like, that was really like the real good stall card that we had. But now, you know, you got to come up with something else. I mean, Messenger of Peace is still a good card too, and it does kind of do the same thing as Mystic Mine. You can always give that a look if you want to try that out. I'm in the process of testing things out still. You always got to try to improve your deck, so there's that. And then I also run the 1 Branded Fusion. It's just a solid fusion card. I run the 1 Fusion Deployment, the 1 Red Eyes Fusion. I run Upstart Goblin, and then as a stall card, we have our 1 Dark Ruler No More. That actually is a really good card, especially when people, you know, spam the board and they have like a field that seems unstoppable. This card right here is the win all, lose all type card. But yeah, and then we have our 1 Magical Eyes Fusion, our Secrets of Dark Magic. I also run the 1 Called by the Graves, and then I run 1 Spellbook of Knowledge, just for the draws. So we do have this, and then we have the Upstart Goblin to help us draw. So there's that. And then we're going to go right into the trap cards. I don't have a big trap lineup, but here's what I got for you guys. We have the 2 Eternal Souls. Just 2, you don't need 3. And then we're going to go ahead and run 2 Skill Drains, 2 Infinite Impermanences. We're still running our 2 Rivalry of Warlords. I like this better than Gozen Match, but I do have the Gozen Match in the side. Switch it out if I so happen to need to. And I run Evenly Matched. I main deck Evenly Matched, yes. Now in today's format, like I said, with Ghost Belle and Spook Dog, your life points get so high, and if you want to take a hit, this is you just leave your board clear, free and clear, give that straight attack. And this right here is the Wind All, Clear All. It's kind of like a Lightning Storm if you use it correctly. But there's that, and then I run the 1 Summon Limit, another stall card. I run a lot of stall cards in here, okay? But that is it for the main deck. Now I'm going to show you the extra deck here. Okay, starting off with the links, I still run the Gloomy. I run 1 IP Masquerena, a Unicorn, and I also run an Appaloosa. In like middle to late game, Appaloosa does come in handy when I go into this here and then link into the Appaloosa. So that's it for the links. Okay, then we're gonna go straight into our XYZ cards. I'm gonna get these out of the way for us, and then I have a small XYZ lineup, just 3 XYZ monsters, Ebon, Red Eyes, Flare Metal, and then the Zeus. Zeus is always a good card. I'll go into this and then go into Zeus, or go into this and go into Zeus. But I like to leave this card on the field for at least a turn because it does have the burn damage effect, and then it is good for the middle to late game, especially if your opponent doesn't have much life points left You can always get that Red Eyes back from the graveyard by detaching. So that does help out there. That's it for the XYZ monsters. Now we're going to go straight into the spells. Now my spells are a little bit kind of the same as before, but I do got a little extra stuff in here. We run the 1, the 1, and the 1. Okay, so we got the Dark Magician Dragon Knight, Dark Magician Girl Dragon Knight, and Quintet Magician. So I'm running Dark Magician Girl only because sometimes you do draw her and she is a way to get rid of her out of your hand. Especially with your Magician Souls. If she's in your hand, you got Magician Souls. You can pitch her if you wanted to from your hand, get her out of there. Or you can use Timaeus if you have Timaeus in your hand. And there's other cards too. You just fusion her up, fusion her and another spellcaster monster and bring her out. Or there's Red Eyes. You can also use Red Eyes. There's that, but also we have our Red Eyes, Dark Dragoon, 2 of those. And then for that, we run the Alban, the Rebellion, and the Masquerade. And that will complete the extra deck. And then just as a side, some of the cards I told you about that I would show you just that you can run to help you with the Byseals and Telements and stuff like that. So I'm only going to show you the 1 card. So I have the Ghost Spell Haunted Mansion. That really helps out with the Byseals and Telements as well. I like Ghost Moonlit Chill. This actually does help a lot. It brings your opponent's life points down so you don't really have to deal out that much damage. You can also run the Gamma Seals. You can run a Kaiju engine, take out a couple cards aside for Kaijus, and then you can run Interrupted Kaiju Slumber as well. I don't have that card in here. I couldn't find it. But we also have our Dino Wrestler Prankatops. You can also put that in there. It's generic hand trap, sort of kind-ish. Prankatops. Contact C. Contact C is a surprisingly good card because it is an insect, and most decks now are mostly Link and Fusion, and they're very archetype based. So if you give them this, they really can't get rid of it. I mean, some decks can get rid of it because they have generic stuff. So, I mean, it is a stall card if you so happen to use it. Then we have the Nibiru. Like I said, you can main deck Nibiru, side Nibiru, whatever you like. Whatever you prefer, whatever your meta is at your locals or whatever you're going for, this is a good card to always keep in the side with Dark Magicians because you're playing so many combo decks out there now. Dimension Shifter is always a good side card. There's a lot of links now, and you got the Dragon Link going around with the Byseals, so you got your Fantastical Dragon Phantasme making a scene again. I remember when this card was like $30, $40, even higher, you know. Now it's so cheap. But there's that. That helps with the links. Get more cards to your hand. Got your DD Crows. DD Crow always good. Help you with the Byseals. One card that I actually do like in here is Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning. If you do end up running this card, hard to use. I've used it a couple times. It's a free banish. I mean, it does target, but it does banish. Get rid of something for you. And then the last 2 cards that I would say are pretty good is Shared Ride. It's also like a Phantasme in a sense. Anytime your opponent adds cards to their hand, except from drawing them, you draw a card too. So, you know, that helps out a lot. And then we also have our Ice Dragon's Prison. Ice Dragon's Prison is such a great card. Does help get rid of problematic monsters and cards. But that wraps it up for the deck profile, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But until the next video, I will see you again. And I am coming out with the Blue Eyes soon. I'm working on it. It's Give me some time, a little bit more time. I want to do something nobody else is doing right now. So, you know, I'm really trying to get this together for you guys, all right? Just be a little bit more patient. I will be coming out with a Fluffle deck profile soon. That is going to be very fun. A very fun deck there. But have a good night, guys. Merry Christmas.